I know everybody is worried about what is going to be the next crisis. The reason why people are thinking about the next crisis is because it seems like for the last 2 years, it's been crisis after crisis after crisis. And just when we think we're past everything, something else happens. And so now that we've kind of gotten into this lull state of kind of managing in a new normal or leading in a new normal, we're all mentally thinking about, how do I deal with the next crisis, or what could the next crisis be? And how am I going to be able to manage that? Well, let me tell you this, you're going to have to manage it, because if you don't have yourself prepared for the next crisis, things can spiral out of control very quickly. You can lose staff, you can lose your own confidence, you might even lose your own mental health and stability as a part of the crisis. And let's not even talk about the financial impact that a crisis could have on you and your organization and your extended family. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So whether it's a global pandemic, whether it's racial and social unrest, whether it's economic calamity, whether it's some kind of massive change to public policy and regulation that forces you to do everything that you've been doing for the last 5 years differently, there's going to be another crisis. And it can be problematic. It can have a negative impact on you and everybody around you. So this is why it's incredibly important that you're prepared for the next crisis. How do you deal with the next crisis? So I want to give you 3 things that you should focus on to prepare yourself for the next crisis. The first thing is your mindset. Your mindset is everything. So when I say mindset, you have to be focused on your own mindfulness. Are you taking time to rest? Are you taking time to recuperate when you're in this lull? Are you taking a vacation? Because most people are not even taking a vacation. They're just like working through. And the one thing you don't want to do is to burn yourself out. And then when the next crisis shows up, you're not prepared to lead because you are at your wit's end about everything. So you got to focus on your mindset. That means taking time off. That also means reading up on what the trends are and reading the tea leaves of what may happen next. It might mean you might need to find an economist that you can follow on social media and hear them talk about what it might mean to healthcare if we had a new crisis or the next crisis. It might mean listening to different podcasts or books on audio, or maybe even listening to radio shows. I mean, there's so many things out there that can give you insights from futurists who might tell you what the next big thing is. The reason why you want to prepare yourself mentally for this, because if you know that it's coming, then it becomes less a surprise. And when it becomes less of a surprise, then you don't have to react to it. You can respond to it. And as a leader, it's really important that you learn how to respond to crisis and not react to crisis. So focus on your mindset. The second thing you need to do is you need to focus on your skill set. Skill set. Now, when I mean skill set, I'm literally talking about, do you know how to do crisis communications? Do you know how to manage crisis? Have you done strategic crisis management from a process and planning perspective? This might be a good time for you to take a course or two to understand how to manage through crisis when they come. How to deal with a personal crisis. Have you sharpened up your financial acumen to know how to manage the resources tighter when you're in the middle of a crisis, when you can't get access to certain things? So you got to focus on improving your skills. You just got to get better as a leader. You got to grow as a leader. That means taking some classes or some courses, taking a seminar, maybe even going back to school. These are all of the things you should do to sharpen your skill set to deal with a crisis. Now, the third thing is really simple, is you got to change your relationships. So when I mean change your relationships, I'm not saying you got to cut everybody off and not spend time with them, but you have to put people in your circle who have the experience and expertise that you don't, that have the knowledge that you don't, that have the skill set that you don't. So wherever you can't get the skills and wherever you don't have the mindset, it might be a good time to find people around you that have these skills and experiences. So in your organization, on your team, do you have someone that has a background in crisis management? Do you have someone who has a background in crisis communication? Do you have someone who knows about emergency response functions whenever a crisis comes? The next crisis is going to come. We don't know what it is, but it's best to arm yourself with intellectual pursuits that will help you to prepare mentally, and to arm yourself with skills and training that will give you the tools to thrive. And if you don't have either one, it's to surround yourself with people who have those things that you don't. If you put those things together, it'll help you to be better, to be able to manage in a crisis. So I invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn at Anton J. Gunn and tell me how you are preparing for the next crisis that could hit you and your organization. Take care.